We're having hundreds of viewers every week, so I'm loving that impact. And this night is special because it's our last one for the whole summer. I'm not able to do these live events the rest of the summer because of camps, 9 weeks of camp, and internet, maybe not. Cell phone, not sure, and then travel on the weekends too. So if you would just pray that God will use us in this next season, the next 2 months, 2.5 months. But that's tonight, okay? So this is episode 15, and we won't be back until September. So hopefully you'll get your fill tonight. But here's a little review too before we get into the topic tonight. The last 14 of our sessions, episodes, we've covered everything. I've written them down, okay? Campus access, leadership meetings, crisis in youth ministry, the school shootings, we covered that. And there's some great developments with that. Effective youth services, how to have dynamic youth services and put those together. Preaching and teaching, how to create messages in series, right? And then I loved our discussions on the recruiting and the retention of leaders, because those are two different things, right? Recruiting and retention. You can get all of that content for free, right? For free. All you have to do is go back to YouTube and watch this, and we leave them up live too on Facebook, and you can see them all. Or you can go to the youthology.com website, and you can catch all the content there. I add content, it's much more dynamic than what we're just doing here in these live settings, okay? So all free, okay, for you. Okay, tonight, Youthology Live. This is episode number 15, and we are dealing with Camp SZN. So I want to take you to Psalm 78 first, okay? I'm going to give you 4 reasons why we do camp, 4 things that you can prepare for camp, and 4 impacts that camp have, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what we're doing tonight. But let me take you to Psalm 78. Psalm 78 is the generation chapter, okay? Psalm 78 is the generations chapter. And it deals with sharing our faith from one generation to the next. And one of the most important moments in Psalm 78 is in the middle of the chapter when it's dealing with transferring the message of God. I'm going to call it theology, the study of God, to the next generation, okay? Camp. Dude, that is camp, right? I mean, we're hoping youth ministries are doing that on a regular basis too, right? Theology, we finished 2 sessions on that. We've already covered that. So anyway, tonight, I want to take you there. So Psalm 78 is a great read as you prep for camp. So here they are, 4 exciting reasons why we do camp, and this will help you prepare for camp too if you're a leader or a student. Number 1, Mondays. I don't know if there's anything better than a Monday at camp, right? I mean, right, the boys are positioning, and in the afternoon, already the competitions go. The guys are over at the basketball court, right? And they're like doing their, you know what I'm saying. And they're trying to intimidate and figure out who's gonna be on their 3-on-3 team. And then the girls are walking around, doing the girl things, and the boys are doing the boy Mondays. Number 1, Monday. I love a great Monday at camp. Now I know some camps go, weekends and stuff, but the first day, right? Nothing like it. Relationships are built. Hear me. This is a really important principle. Leaders, relationship on Monday gives you access the rest of the week, right? Gives you access at the altar time, access at the prayer time, and during the worship time. So, man, I love Mondays. I try to get out there on that first day, get to know as many people as possible. Number 2, the second strength or reason, the impact of camp, is becoming unplugged. When the screen freezes, right? Let me read something to you. No social media, okay? No social media for a period of time in a student's life creates a reality. No social media in a student's life for a period of time creates reality, right? Because there's so much unreality going on in social media. And it's not against social media. I think we're on social media formats right here, right? So, but the importance of camp is that pause. To stick everything on pause You know, what I often do at the end of the week is I tell the students to bring back your phones on Thursday night or on Friday if we do an out on Friday morning, and have them post what God did, right? And redeem the social media. But there's just that second idea of the focus that can come when the students aren't set into their social media all the time, right? And we can get rid of those devices. Number 3, and that focus leads us to this, and that is anticipation. Anticipation. Maybe one of the most explosive parts of camp, right? Anticipation, the heightened expectation. Here, let me say it this way. Hunger is contagious. Hunger is contagious. Anticipation is rewarded. You hear me? Anticipation is rewarded. Something happens when we set aside our time and the expectation goes up and the hunger is there and the anticipation is there, because out of that focus comes a reward, right? And we've seen that. We've seen that reward with students when they focus and anticipate for just a small period of time. It's explosive, isn't it? It's viral, isn't it? It's like a tipping point. Think about that. A tipping point. Camp becomes a tipping point in someone's life. I mean, you've heard it, man. How many students have been born again in a camp, or called into ministry in a camp, or baptized in the Holy Spirit and received like this call toward a mission field, right? Or whatever. Hey, how many students have met their spouse at camp? Well, anyway, that's back to Monday, right? Okay, hey, number 4 is suddenlies. And I'll review these in a minute. Suddenlies. Let me explain. I believe in moments. Moments create movements. Moments don't create monuments or museums. Moments create movements. Okay? And sometimes in such a quick moment, the lid is taken off, or fences that we have around us are removed. And in that explosive moment, that what I like to call suddenlies, one of my messages this summer at camp is called Suddenly. And in the suddenlies in the scripture, all of these moments where everything turned in a moment, right? I think that is one of the dynamics of camp, where everything is flipped in someone's life in that moment. And so that last area, the impact of camp, happens to be the area that I've often seen some of the greatest moments in camp when students' lives are changed. The light comes on, the aha moment, right? So let me go over those again. Then I'm going to talk to the leaders about how to prep for camp, the leaders and the students, okay? So number 1, Mondays, building relationship. Relationship on Monday will give you, right, in the afternoon, will give you access at the altar, access in the prayer time, access during worship. So we're building that relationship. Number 2, the focus that comes from being unplugged, okay, from our social media and all of those things. And that being unplugged creates reality, okay? When I'm creating a reality moment now. This is not faux, this is not fake, right? Number 3, anticipation, hunger, expectation, which is really faith. And so, this is what we do. This is faith, right? Camp is faith, man. When we see that explosiveness, which is that number 4, the suddenlies. Okay, the suddenlies, the moments creating movements, lids are removed, and these moments create markers where we can go back. When a student sees that God moved, right, and did something in their life and removes that lid and the fence of what they normally have been doing, all of a sudden they realize, you know what, maybe God can move again in my life. Maybe God could do something again. So it creates these markers, triggers, or whatever, right? Memories, okay? So those are the 4 things. Mondays, unplugged, anticipation, and suddenlies. Now let me talk to the leaders and the students here. Practically, how do you prepare yourself, okay? We have just a few minutes left, about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left here. How do you prepare yourself, okay? First, I'm gonna give you four things. Promote. You gotta promote, you gotta talk about it. Okay, you've gotta talk about it. We should be already talking about it, right? Number 2, prayer. the preparation. So once you've begun to promote it and put it out there, set up prayer meetings to prep this. Do not, hear me, do not forget about the supernatural part of this event, okay? Praying students in. You know how many stories I've heard of students who said, I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to be here. Sunday night, right? I called the youth pastor, or I got in trouble. I have heard on more than one hand, I can count so many times when a student said to me, I got grounded, and the only reason that I could come is because my parents said, if you go to camp, then we'll unground you. Dude, love that parent, right? So promote prayer. Number 3, priority. It has to be a priority over a period of time. Okay, it's a priority in your life. It's talking about camp, putting the posters up that you get from your the district or who's ever putting the camp on. You've got to make it a priority, because if you put it in your messaging, the next few weeks, those of you that have camp in June, is coming up pretty quick. But if you got camp in July, you've got a month or so to do this, right? And then finally, promote prayer, priority. Here's the purpose. You must create a post purpose for camp. Okay, a post purpose for camp. This is critical. What do you want out of camp? Okay, what do you want out of camp? When we talk about these kind of moments, and the big hit and the explosion, what are you going to do afterwards? Let me give you one story. I had a youth ministry who took the series of my messages at camp, and in the month of September spoke on each one of those topics, took the notes, actually asked me to send them some of the notes. I don't know if they couldn't take, notes in the moment or whatever. I sent them my notes, and they created a series in September post-camp, right? Just to bring the kids back to that moment. Bringing in the worship songs maybe that you learned from camp. So that 4th area is critical in your post-camp preparation, right? Intending a work of God in your students' lives, okay? So, man, I hope this was helpful. This is every Sunday night. This is Youthology Live, episode number 15, and 12 minutes of learning. So this was camp season. Check out all the notes, all the content that we'll be putting up. I'll have it done by Tuesday, and you'll be able to follow up with some of this stuff and see more in detail what we're talking about, a little more practical, right? When I put that content up at our website, youthology.com, okay? So this has been 12 minutes of learning. Thank you so much. Have an awesome summer, and I'll see you next fall.